Unless you've been living under a rock for the last 6 months, you probably know that this is the Apple iPhone. You can see the screen is nice and bright even in harsh lighting conditions. Has an earpiece and the home button. Not much on the right side. The top has the power button and SIM tray, which can be removed by inserting a paper clip into this tiny hole. There's also a 3.5mm headphone jack, although many types of regular headphones are not compatible with it because it's recessed so deeply. The left side of the phone has a silencer switch as well as the volume rocker. The back of the phone is where you find the camera as well as the antenna spot. Of course, it's super sexy, very thin, and just has a very simple and classic design. The iPhone performs just as you've seen it perform in the Apple videos. All applications open with just a touch of the finger. The SMS application displays your conversations very similar to the iChat program found on Macintosh computers. You hit the SMS button, a list of all your conversations come up. And if we tap one of them, you'll see we have access to all the messages that Eric and I have shared over the last couple of days. So we can see our entire ongoing conversation. The green bubbles represent text I have sent, and the whitish bubbles represent text that Eric has sent. And of course you can jump in to all your conversations from this main SMS page. One thing the Apple videos don't show you much of is how to use the camera. There are two separate parts of the camera, the photo application and the camera application itself. Let's take a quick look at the camera application first. Hitting the button, you'll see we have this gigantic shutter, which opens up to reveal the large viewfinder. This is a great screen on which to compose pictures. Now look at the shutter release button. You can see that it is level with the ground. If we rotate it to the right, the shutter release button rotates as well. Back, and so goes the shutter button. Same with rotating to the left. So the iPhone is lefty and righty friendly. One thing we notice is that it takes pictures almost immediately, and you watch the picture add itself to the photo gallery. Unfortunately, a few things you can't do with the photo user interface is make any adjustments to the resolution, the white balance, the brightness level, or many other settings you're used to being able to adjust on camera phones. Once you've taken your pictures, there's several ways to view them. One is in the photo album application. Here you can see all the pictures we've taken with the camera, and if we had sideloaded any other pictures through iPhoto or through our computer, they'd be visible there. Jumping into the gallery application, you can see we have some pretty boring pictures here. And there are several ways to scroll through them. Number one is to simply touch a picture. From here, we can jump through or delete pictures. Very exciting, I know. Deleting the pictures is actually kind of fun. Let's find a bad picture. One that doesn't look so great. Here's one that's out of focus because I was moving my hand around. Deleting it, you should see the picture get sucked up by the trash can here. Very nice little animation. Of course, if we go back out to the main gallery, we could initiate the Slideshow program, which you can see here has very nice transitions. There's about 4 transitions to choose from. This ripple effect is actually very cute. And that is the gallery application. The iPhone also offers YouTube videos. Hitting the YouTube button brings up a list of the featured videos. You can also show the most viewed, which sometimes coincides with the featured videos, add your own bookmarks, and perform searches. Speaking of searches, let's do a search for Phone Scoop to see what we get. Do a search, and we see we have 2 Phone Scoop videos. Excellent. Let's check out the mogul video. Keep in mind that this is downloading over the Edge network and not via Wi-Fi. taking just a few seconds.
This is the Sprint Mogul, the latest Windows Mobile.
And here you're watching now a phone scoop video about a phone scoop video.
All of these things, you might think, hey, that looks a lot like the Singular 8525.
We hit done, and it will take us out to a basic informational page that shows us the basic tags and info about that video. We can bookmark this or send it to others if we so choose. Just for comparison's sake, we're going to show you a YouTube video that is streamed via Wi-Fi rather than the Edge network. So we'll launch YouTube. We will do a search for Phone Scoop. And we will search. You see we get the same results. So let's play the Sprint Mogul video via Wi-Fi.
This is the Sprint Mogul, the latest Windows Mobile.
You can see it loads much faster, and the video itself looks much nicer.
These things, you might think, hey, that looks a lot like the Singular 8525.
Checking the weather is as simple as tapping the weather key. This brings up a list of local weather and any other city that you may choose to add. Let's say we want to add yet another city. Tap the info button and hit the plus sign. And here we go. Let's add via zip code. Search. Looking up Bowling Green, Ohio. Let's add that. Hit done. And we now have Bowling Green listed in our weather. The clock application is similarly easy to use. Tapping the clock button brings up the world clock. So you can see here we have a number of cities already added, including most time zones in the US. As you can scroll up and down through the list of cities. So let's say we want to add a city. Let's add Melbourne, Australia. You can see that it automatically auto-sorts some preset cities. So there's Melbourne. We'll add it, and here it is at the bottom. Now let's say we want to shift where these clocks are. Simply hit Edit, and this slider key lets you move any of the clocks up and down so you can alter its position in your world clock. So now we have a number of cities set in our world clock. Along with the world clock is an alarm, stopwatch, and timer. Let's set a quick alarm. Hitting the plus button brings up the user interface for the alarm. You can see we have this gigantic scroll wheel, which is just lots of fun. Let's set an alarm for 2 o'clock, 1 minute from now. We'll hit the save button, and basically we're all set. Of course, one of the key functionalities of the iPhone is the ability to make phone calls, check your email, browse the web, and use the iPod. You can see demonstrations of most of these applications on the Apple website. However, we thought it would be worth showing you loading the good old Phone Scoop homepage. So here we have it set up to go to Yahoo. And right now we have an Edge connection. So you can see it takes just a little bit of time to build the Yahoo page. Where the page hasn't been completely built, you get some funky blocky letters. But once you're in here, you can rotate sideways, and the screen will rotate to whichever way you orient the iPhone. So again, lefty and righty friendly. So let's say you're having a hard time reading this. Simply doing this lets you zoom in and move around the screen so you can interact with it and read it better. You can also squeeze it to make it smaller. Let's browse to Phone Scoop. Watch Phone Scoop load, and it will render the entire page and not give you the WAP site that Phone Scoop provides for mobile phones. Again, taking just a few minutes to bring in the entire Phone Scoop page. Considering we only have 2 bars of coverage, that's not so bad. You can also set up a number of bookmarks which makes jumping to different pages a lot easier. For people looking for the latest and greatest device on the market, the iPhone is certainly at the top of the list. Although it falls short in a few respects, like the lack of stereo Bluetooth or the 2-megapixel camera and slow browsing speeds, the iPhone still offers a lot for the multimedia enthusiast, including the YouTube, threaded SMS, and of course the iPod functionality.